Hey, how about you, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Live Recruiting Show. I'm your host, Jeffrey Lee, Senior Recruiting Editor for Auburn Live on 3. Today is Wednesday, February the 28th. For you, tonight we're recording Tuesday, February 27th. But anyways, we'll talk as though it's Wednesday. We'll try our hardest to do that. It's pretty complicated, but we'll do it. We'll make sacrifices. Anyways, we have a fantastic show for you again today. We've got a lot of recruiting questions to answer. We've got some how about yous. Auburn picked up a huge commitment on Monday. We'll talk about Mr. Devin Williams. And here to do it all with me, Mr. Cole Pinkston, Mr. Alan Jhead. How about you, Alan Jhead?
How about you, Alan Jhead?
It feels so good to call you Alan Jhead. It really does.
I appreciate it. You know what? I had a little bit of identity crisis. We've been going by Jhead for a while, but I figured, you know what? It's time to use my real name on the show. I appreciate you guys letting me do it. And looking forward to the interaction on the board. I'm going to change my name on the board as well. So
Good.
You guys are going to know who you're talking to from this point moving forward.
And let me give some backstory on this. I won't get into too many details, but when Alan first signed up for the message boards, he didn't sign up. His brother did.
Yes.
His brother, his name is
Jonathan
Jhead. And he picked the name Jhead 5487639, whatever the hell it is. And of course, Alan took over his account and has been posting we've got some Frederick 90 stuff going on right here.
We do. With you. A little bit, right? But the difference on mine is you had two poor college kids that were splitting the same account there for a while, trying to make it honest, my man. So
the community scene when old dude's sitting back and he goes, "I'll allow it. I'll allow it."
That's one of your go-tos.
Yeah, that's one of my go-tos. That's definitely on my roster.
No doubt.
But that honestly, Alan, that's why I've been wanting because you're not Jhead. You're not, and I feel like you deserve your own cred, and so I am absolutely thrilled to now be able to call you Alan Jhead, A-Head. Just don't call him A-Hole.
There you go.
So he will be addressed as Alan Jhead or A-Head.
Or, you know what? Whatever you guys want to call me.
He'll answer to anything.
There you go.
Except A-Hole.
I'm going to start calling you Alan. I'm going to have a few mistakes. I go ahead and apologize for that.
Get it in Allen range. Allen range. Always turning the screws.
Yeah, man. But glad to be joining you guys tonight. Look, excited to talk about Devin Williams. That's huge, guys.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Let's talk about Devin Williams. Devin Williams is the 4-star quarterback. He committed to Auburn Monday afternoon. Cole, both of you guys, I'm not like I've been disagreeing with you or anything. He's from Buford, Georgia. Huge to get that opened up.
Yes.
A line to that school opened up. But we'd all been feeling like he was Auburn's to lose for some time. But I tell you what, he made a snap decision. He went to bed Sunday night, going to release the top 3. Woke up Monday morning and said, "I'm ready to commit."
Yep. And
that afternoon he committed. So what is Auburn getting? I'll get both of y'all's takes on this. Cole, you go first. What's Auburn getting in Devin Williams?
Yeah, I'm kind of kicking myself that I didn't put that prediction in because I toyed with it and I put it in potential picks on the RPM rundown about twice. So somewhat got out in front of it. We had a feeling. The other school in it seemed to be Notre Dame, and that was the place he was going to go one day, but weather did not allow him to travel. This is back when it was raining a lot, or I think there was a snowstorm up there or something. He ends up taking this visit to Auburn instead because Wesley McGriff has been all over him. Like, we need to get you here. And he says, well, I couldn't make it to Notre Dame this weekend. Let's go to Auburn. Walking out of that visit, boy, that interview had me sold. I thought, man, he really, really enjoyed that. And he likes Wesley McGriff. And I started thinking about putting in a prediction then. Of course, I didn't do it, but here we are now. I like Devin Williams as a player. I don't think he's that big. So that's one thing that some people look at. And he dropped a little bit in the rankings. I think that's probably what it is because of his size. His hands aren't that big. Length is okay, not great. Someone said, after watching his highlights, that kind of reminds me of Roger McCreary. I don't know if I would go that far because Roger's the bomb. He was excellent at Auburn. He's doing well in the pros. but Devin Williams has that same gamesmanship about him. He's a playmaker. He's a football player. I like those guys. Sometimes you'll just see elite athletes, and they don't really know what they're doing positionally. They don't know exactly what they're doing out there. Devin Williams understands the game. It looks like he's been playing it since birth. So that's what I like about Devin Williams.
Alan, are you concerned with his size? He's listed at 5'9.5" on On3's profile, 5'9.5", 160. I mean, we're talking Gerard Powers here.
That's, Gerard Powers, Jonathan Jones, those are two guys that came to mind when you saw him.
Both in the NFL.
Right, both in the NFL, guys that were a little bit undersized, guys that were track athletes. That's what this young man is. He's a track athlete. I believe he's running a sub 10.6 100-meter dash. So can book, got hips that he can flip. I mean, you saw that very cleanly on his tape. So depending on how they're going to use him, you have to be cautious when you're going to take an undersized guy. You have to be cautious of what you're bringing in. But he's a player that you see a high football IQ on tape. And when you're picking from schools like Auburn, Notre Dame, Texas A&M, he obviously had very quality schools that were interested in him. And I'm going to be honest, I trust a Mike Elko evaluation. And if Mike Elko wants the kid and they were all in on him, then I trust that eval completely. So you're getting a kid who's got speed. He's got the ability to play press man. He can play off in zone, high football IQ. There's a lot you can do with Devin Williams. Now, the size is not great. We all know that. But it won't be the first time that Auburn's had success with an undersized cornerback if he hits when he comes to Auburn, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. I like it. I love getting any kid from Buford, and always guys coming out of Buford. So, big addition for Auburn, big addition for Wesley McGriff coming back from A&M and locking this kid up. Just don't forget that.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Well, I know we've got some more 5-star offensive tackle set an official visit, unofficial visit to Auburn. I apologize. Cole, what was his name?
It's Andrew Babalola.
Oh, yeah. Babalosa.
Andrew Babalola. I'm sorry about that.
Babalola.
Yes.
Also, I think we touched on this quickly in the call-in show, but the quarterback, Longstreet, Husan Longstreet, has locked in an unofficial visit. He's from California. Husan Longstreet's coming in March the 23rd, along with Travis Smith. Man, I'm telling you, if you haven't already, guys, if you're not keeping up with it, we usually don't put unofficial visits on the visit list until they've actually made the visit, but there's just so much going on in March that I wanted to go ahead and take advantage of it. If these kids don't come, then we'll take them off. But if you'll go to Auburn Live on 3, under the football recruiting tab at the top, go down to visits, and everybody that we've confirmed or has made their plans known, we've gone ahead and listed them on that visit list. And this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, 13, 14, at least 15 guys. And these are all 4- and 5-star guys. And it's not, it's 1 or 2, 4, 2, they're all spaced out.
I think we have to, man, because the number of guys that are trying to get this done in March now, and last year it was the end of summer, and now I think it's moving up again. And the reason for that is I think it was Zealous Hicks who told me, it was like, man, I got to get my spot. With the transfer portal the way it is, these high school guys are going, man, if I don't get my spot now, they're going to decide to use that spot on the portal as hard as they're recruiting me. That's the way they're thinking, at least. So that's going on. I also have a visit for Jacoby Ward, offensive lineman from Georgia, for March 29th.
That's a big one.
I haven't even thought about the 2026 kids. We had Hezekiah Harris.
Hezekiah, or
that's what I said. Hezekiah Harris. I mean, he's a potential future 5-star in the 2026 class. He's coming in, I think, March the 16th. He announced today. I need to get him added to the list. But Kenyon Brett is also 2026. He's coming in. Dia Bell, the quarterback from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, is coming in on March the 16th. March the 16th, March the 23rd, those Saturdays are going to be big. Historically, traditionally, whatever, on Saturdays during the spring, there's usually some type of scrimmage inside the stadium. Those are usually bigger recruiting days than, let's say, a midweek practice. But there will be guys pretty much at every practice of the spring starting today or yesterday. Today's Wednesday, remember?
There you go.
All right, let's get to some questions from the corner. Mr. Allen Head, and Mr. Allen Head posted the question, ask Mr. Jhead, but that will be no longer. Have you already started the process, Jhead? I might have to put $1 in the A-head jar.
There you go. No, I have not started my transition just yet. Well, that will commence first thing tomorrow morning.
Would you like me to go ahead and get something? See if I could get it going.
Oh yeah,
Allen head.
There you go.
All right, I'm gonna see what I can do.
All right,
I'll put it in there. All right, let's see. All the meat for free. That's what I used to say in college. You know what I'm saying? Cole knew it was coming. He just shook his head. I like your.
No, that's actually not why. Because me and all the meat for free, we were getting after it a little bit today on the corner. So this is exactly the topic we were getting after it about as well.
He's a hit or miss poster, man. I love him. I do, but sometimes he's terrible. I ain't gonna lie, and sometimes I am too. I mean, let's be honest here. I'm a hit or miss now. I'm hit or miss. Depends on what time of the month it is.
There you go.
All right, all the meat for free. How many 4-star or higher offensive linemen will end up in this class? Let's see. 4-star or higher offensive linemen.
I'm going to go with 3.
I'll say 2 or 3.
I like 3. I like 3. Good over under would be 2.5 probably.
Yeah,
and
I'd go over for that.
I think
4-star. I think 3 4-star offensive linemen is. I would expect that now from the staff.
Yeah,
and
especially with the guys they're in on.
Correct. I mean, I think you're going to land Travaris Dice. I know that's probably our next one of our questions on this, but you're going to land Dice here soon. That's a 4-star guy. I think you're in a good position with several other 4-star caliber players. You're probably taking 5 to 6 high school offensive linemen in this class. So I think 3 is probably a pretty safe bet given who you're in on. And again, I don't get so caught up in the stars as it pertains to offensive line. It is a developmental position. I want to know what are their traits, their length. You know what I mean? The physical skill set. The kid we took out of junior college, Seth Wilford, I liked as much as a lot of offensive linemen that both Cole and I looked at last year. And he was a nobody that ended up being ranked a 3-star and ended up becoming a junior college All-American. So I don't get so caught up in rankings this time of the year as it pertains to offensive line.
And regardless of what Micah Deos does anytime in the near future, I know he's pegged for LSU. A lot of, including Cole, and I mean, I have no reason to doubt that. But he's one of those guys that I'll believe it when December comes around, and whether or not Auburn makes a huge push for him, I feel like he's a guy that could end up in this class regardless of what happens. I mean, if Auburn really, really wants him, like they really, really wanted some people last year in this class, in last year's class, I could easily see him. So yeah, I'll take the over of 2.5.
There you go.
Tigers Unlimited, over under 16.5 commits by football season in the 2025 class. Thank you for your detailed question there, Tigers Unlimited. Auburn has 9 commitments right now, ranked number 8th in the country, 3rd in the SEC. There's one school that's like 47th. Like,
imagine that.
I don't even know where they got, so Auburn has 9 commitments, and Tigers Unlimited said over under, so 16.5. So that's 7 would be 16. So 7 or 8 by football season. So that's September, February, let's see, March, April, May, June, July, August. That's 6 months.
Yeah.
That's 1 month.
I'll take the over.
I think I would too.
I think this year, yes. Last year, I thought we'd be right at 15, and that's pretty much where we were, was right at 15. I think we're going to be over, not by a huge amount. I'm going to say 17 or 18 commits rolling into the season.
That's a good over under Tigers Unlimited.
I thought he did a good job on that because I'm trying to think position wise who's going to jump on the board. Obviously, it looks like Eric Winters and Travaris Dice are both guys are going to make commitments here relatively soon.
A quarterback.
And Quan Fegans has said he's going to have a summertime decision.
Dice. Travaris Dice. Derek Smith is a guy.
And that's just in the next 2 to 3 months.
That's next 2 to 3, right? And we know that official visit season is going to be fully cranked up in July. In June.
The summer.
Yeah.
June's going to be March and June. Keep an eye on unofficial March and official June. And then commit season is going to start picking up hugely right before the season starts. This we talked about this last year. It's not going to be who you're going to have to get kids committed. You're going to have to keep them committed, and you're going to have to flip others. By the time November gets around, there's going to be very, very few top dogs that are uncommitted. I really believe that.
I agree.
Think of it this year. How many top dogs coming down to signing day were completely uncommitted? I mean, our biggest signee on signing day was Amaris Williams, and he was committed to Florida, right?
Yep. The only uncommitted was Favor Edwin Cohen Eccles. And Cohen had decommitted, did he not?
He had. He decommitted from Texas A&M.
Yeah. The week before, and then committed. So that's just how it is now. As you're going to have to retain commitments and flip others. Yeah. So I'll take 17 or more come toe meets leather, as JG Tate would like to say.
There you go.
Let's see. Speaking of JT Aubie, how does the pursuit of Husan Lane Street shake up quarterback recruiting? I don't think it shakes it up at all. I think he's just part of it. I think there are 5 guys that they're really dialed into right now, and I think he's a top 2 to 3 guy.
I was about to say, I would venture to say he is way high on that list. That's some recent intel I've gotten that Husan Longstreet, and I knew about him. I wasn't putting as much stock into him, but we need to, because that's the guy that Auburn really, really likes. And he actually just got a big ratings bump with On 3 as well.
And Chad Simmons said he was hearing a lot of buzz around Auburn, and I think it was A&M.
Yeah, Texas A&M, and then Ole Miss has started to press somewhat as well. So those are the 3 teams to watch for him. But no, you're right. I mean, he's probably 2A or 2B on the board. I mean, I think Juju's still number 1. I don't think there's any question on that. But KJ Lacey, Husan Longstreet, I'm not sure who the clear-cut number 2 is between those guys.
I am the same way, dude. I feel good about Cutter Woods being 4, TJ Lateef being 5. I don't know who's 2 or who's 3.
Right.
I think it's 2A, 2B. It really doesn't matter, but I think those are your 5 guys, and I feel like Auburn's got a good shot to get one of them. I really do. I'd be surprised if they didn't. I'd be surprised if they moved to their second-tier guys at the quarterback. If that's tier 1, I don't see Auburn getting to tier 2.
That would be big to stack 2 top 10 type quarterbacks in consecutive classes, because Walker White was obviously what did he end up being rated by consensus wise? I think he was a top 10 quarterback prospect, right?
Yeah, he was top. He was number 9.
I thought he was number 9. You know what's also interesting is that 3 of these guys, you've got KJ from down the street, you got Juju from down the street, and then the other 3 was Kentucky and 2 Californias,
South Carolina and 2 Californias.
Yeah, South Carolina.
Walker was Walker was number 7.
Okay.
7. Okay.
I don't know how he got to be 7, because On 3 had him at 6, 24/7 had him at 5, ESPN had him at 3, and Rivals had him at 6. Somehow he's a consensus number 7.
Brother, one day we will sit down and we'll figure out how all this is calculated. I promise you, man, because the math just doesn't math sometimes.
Nobody had him lower than 6, but somehow he's a consensus number 7.
There you go.
Let's see. B-Die, who infamously or famously, whichever side of the coin you are on, put Connor AU in the corner for a couple of days.
Sure did, didn't he?
I got to give B-Die how about you for that. All right, let's see. B-Die wants to know, who is the one player you will be paying attention to the most this spring? Saw some practice video coming out of the open window session on Tuesday. Got to see a lot of the quarterbacks. Got to see some Cam Coleman. But is there one guy you're going to be paying attention to the most this spring?
Yeah.
For me, it's a guy on the defensive line, and Justin Hokanson and I went to practice Tuesday and watched everything. I watched the defense, he watched the offense. The guy that I keep looking at, I just want to see how he's progressing. First of all, he looks different. He looks totally different. He's dropped some weight. He's leaned up.
I know where you're going with this one.
Deron Reed.
Yeah, man.
That's the guy. I gotta see
good today
or Tuesday. Look, I think Auburn's defensive line hinges on a guy like him or Bobby Travis. Those 2, actually. I think it hinges on those 2 being good right now before they.
Fair.
Yeah. Mr. Allen Head.
I'm going to go with 2 guys, and it's the same position. It's quarterback. Hey, look at that.
Man, you changed your name and look what happens.
That's crazy.
What did you do?
I don't know. I did turn in 2, and it all of a sudden, there you go.
Man, I'll never get that.
I'm telling you, dude. This emoji
I've
thing.
never gotten one. Never.
You did. Cole's so left out.
I know. Man,
Nobody puts Cole in the corner. Come on,
Man,
now.
my face is red as hell. I thought I got sunburned today or something.
Yeah, you were doing a little outside work, huh?
Yeah, I've been at the damn chiropractor. I'm telling you what, somebody had a post about turning 40 the other day, and I'm 48 now. But my goodness, dude, I have, I got the neck and stuff. I got the eyes. Had the upper respiratory infection, all 3. Then I had my damn jaws all painting. I've been pushing the pills, man. I tell you,
man.
So anyways,
so back to the question. It's quarterback, man. I'm watching Peyton Thorne and Hank Brown. Look at it. All of it.
That's what I was going to say. Peyton Thorne. That's who I am.
Yeah, there you go. For those of us who are watching in podcast form, Jeffrey was just giving me some sign language that I found.
You're number 1, big dog.
Yeah, number 1 in his book. But it's Hank Brown, it's Peyton Thorne. What happens in that situation? I think this is going to be really a learning situation for Walker White. I don't anticipate much movement from him. But I expect something to happen between. I really believe Hank Brown may find himself in the number 2 spot. I think he's going to pass Holden. That's just my gut reaction right now. We'll see. Maybe Holden is going to be pushed here, and he's going to say, you know what? Nah, man. I'm here. I'm in it. I'm the clear-cut number 2. But something about that bowl game performance and the kind of the buzz I've heard since then makes me think Hank Brown's going to make a move on the number 2 spot, and then we'll see how it shakes out in fall practice.
I like it. I'm the same way. Listen, last season I felt like revolved around a lot of the quarterback. I'm not alone in saying that, and I think it's going to be a big part of next season as well. When it comes down to it, there's a lot of intrigue with the young guys. I talked about this on the call-in show. I really am excited about this freshman class. But what it comes down to it is, what does the quarterback position look like come April the 6th, April the 7th?
Agreed.
Yeah, that's the big part of the season hinges on that.
To me, it's quarterback and D-line. It really goes no further than those 2. I mean, those 2 way above the rest.
I hear you.
I got to know. I got to feel better about the defensive line. I don't feel good about them right now.
No, I hear you, Colin.
I hate that if any of the D linemen are tuning in right now. I hate it. But, man, I just, I need somebody to just be that guy in that ring.
And you're young in spots. That's the thing. You got talent, but you talk about it. At the end spot, you had Keldrick Falk and Amaris Williams and TJ Lindsey. Those were the 3 guys that were at end today. You know what I mean? That's young. That's real young.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look over at defensive tackle, and you've got Zeke Walker and Gage Keys, and then Deron Reed. And Deron Reed is easily, if his game is where it needs to be, the most talented guy in that specific position.
I agree.
But is it where it needs to be? And those are the question marks that you have. And then obviously, we just talked about it. There's definite question marks at quarterback. You got to improve at that position. You cannot have another year where Peyton Thorne throws for 1,700 yards. I mean, that's just not good enough.
This question came up today when all the media were together. Let's just say you went back and we don't have to comment on this, but let's say you went back and tallied all of those drops in favor of his statistics. Do you feel any better about Peyton Thorne? If those statistics were boosted from the drops that were had?
I think you could give him half back. You're going to have drops. So there's no way you're going to be able to give him all of those back. But if you give him half back, you probably, Jeffrey, I don't know, you're better at this than I am, handicapping it, but maybe you get 300 yards back from drop passes.
There was just so many other things, But I will say that I hear you, dude. Listen, there were some inexcusable drops, no doubt about it. And listen, what does that do for the psyche of the quarterback? Well, I mean, if these guys are making catches, what does that do for his next 3 throws? Which might have been the difference in the game that we saw, or our difference in our opinion on, well, man, that was terrible. Well, he just lost his confidence because he's doing. So there's a lot that goes in, a lot to factor into it. I want to see. It's hard for me to talk about because I really don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I can see it.
Sure.
Does that make any sense? Like I can't put it into words. I can look at a quarterback and know if he's got it or not. I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. I just know that it's either there or it's not. And there were some times last year where I said,
he's got it.
He's got it. And then it was like, God dang, he ain't close.
The thing about the bowl game is that people who, and you do know what you're talking about, Jeffrey. Don't belittle yourself. I know you know what you're talking about. But people who watch the game and don't really saw that in Hank Brown.
Right.
They felt a lot more comfortable about Hank Brown after watching that. You know? And he's intriguing, man. He's intriguing for that reason.
Yeah, I think it was the decisiveness with which he was able to make his reads, right? Like he was able to get to 1, 2, 3 really quickly, which was advanced for a young guy. Mm-hmm. He's not got the strongest arm, but you don't have to, right? Like you don't have to be able to knock guys over. You need to be able to complete balls. You need to be able to be accurate. You need to have good ball placement, and the anticipatory part of the game has to be there. And that's the part of it to me that Peyton struggled with at times. And was that the structure of the offense? Was that playmakers not being able to get separation? Because this is where I struggle. And Cole, you hit this, and we got to get to the next question. But when the guy had elite wide receivers when he was at Michigan State, and by elite, I mean 2 guys that are going to be drafted into the NFL.
First day.
Mm-hmm. He threw for 3,000 plus yards in a season, right?
Yep.
There's no reason he should have thrown for sub 2,000 at Auburn. Like there had to be other things outside of Peyton Thorne that contributed to that. And is it, the fact that the offense just never meshed? There were differences in philosophy, various voices in the quarterback room. I don't know, but I'm interested to see what he looks like this spring and this fall, because that, to me, is going to be a truer determination of what Peyton Thorne really is as a quarterback.
I agree.
Hendo's got a good question. Hendo74 wants to know, Auburn signed that big wide receiver class last year, I think 4, and then went into the portal for at least 2 more. I think they added 6 to 7. I know Robert Lewis, and do they have 2 from the portal?
Just 1.
No, they added that Sam Jackson.
Oh, that's right. Sam Jackson. You're right.
Yep. So they brought in 6 new wide receivers this year, and he wants to know how many wide receivers will Auburn take in this class, and who is the main target on the board. I will say this, Alan. Here's what I'm looking at when people ask me about numbers. I say, well, how many is Auburn losing? And you're losing Coy Moore. This is just to graduation. Coy Moore, or who's listed as a senior. I don't know if they've got COVID years or not, but Coy Moore is a senior. Robert Lewis is a senior. Sam Jackson is a senior. That's 3. That's 3 seniors.
Jackson's only a junior, I think. I think
he's listed as a senior.
Is he listed as a senior?
On the official roster, he is.
Okay, maybe he's got a COVID year, and that's why.
So I always go, okay, how many are they losing, and then plus attrition. So you've got 3 holes to fill at least.
Yeah, 3 to fill at least, and then like you said, add 1 for attrition, so potentially 3 to 4.
Yeah, I think that was my numbers. The main target would be Derek Smith, if that's where they want him.
Yes.
Travis Smith.
Yeah. Travis. CJ Wiley is the name that keeps coming up for me.
Got to throw Dalen Upshaw in there.
I think he's in there. And then
Caleb Cunningham.
There you go.
Caleb Cunningham. That's the one.
There you go.
I think he's probably,
yeah.
I would say, besides your obvious, freak shows out there who we may not be hearing about because Auburn's not really being mentioned with them, I'd say Caleb Cunningham's number 1, and Derek Smith is the same tier, but maybe number 2.
I hear you.
I tell you what, Cole, and you mentioned the name, CJ Wiley. I really like that kid. I mean, he shows a great catch radius on tape, plays the ball extremely well in the air. I think he's underrated. And I'm not saying that because I think he's leaning Auburn or anything like that. I'm not trying to homer it up here. I'm just wherever that kid lands, I think he's underrated. And that's one I would make a move on. Honestly,
CJ Wiley, huh?
Yeah.
Yes, he's at. Is he the one? No, Travis Smith is from Westlake. CJ Wiley is from
Alpharetta, I believe.
That's right.
He must be listed as a athlete.
Oh, no, CJ Wiley's at Milton with Ryan G.
Milton, also home of
Carl Lawson.
Carl Lawson, Mr. Former 5-star.
That's Alpharetta, Georgia, is it not?
It is.
It is. I don't know why they're listed at Milton, but yeah,
They listed Milton on him, but yeah, it is Alpharetta.
A couple of more names I want to throw out there when I was going through the list, the offer list. Kamari Williams. I know Auburn really likes Kamari Williams. He's down from South Florida, and he is the teammate, if I'm not mistaken, with the Denarius Gray.
Yeah, it's Chaminade Madonna.
There you go. So Caleb Cunningham, Travis Smith, just a couple of names that I was flipping through here. I'm going to have top targets at each position. I'm going to start Wednesday because I'm telling you, dude, I've been to I've been in and out. Won't get it started. Wade and Charles is another. I know he's committed, but these are all guys.
Auburn's really in it there at Chaminade, which is a prominent. I mean, gosh, they got all kinds of guys. Got Denarius Gray committed. Chris Ewald. Chris Ewald, big corner target. He's from Chaminade. So they're in with that school pretty well right now.
Dylan Alfred's another name I've heard.
Oh yeah, Dylan Alfred.
But you're talking about Palm Beach Central. I don't know if these guys transferred to, but Kamari Williams and then the kid Wade and Charles, Denarius Gray. All these kids visited Auburn last year together. I don't know if they're 7-on-7 teammates or what, but all of those kids are guys to keep an eye on. I'll have more on the wide receivers later this week. All right, Zim Zam. What do each of y'all think the ceiling for Freeze is for a recruiting class, regardless of years? Okay, 10 years from now, what's Hugh Freeze's highest rated recruiting class?
Well,
4.
I was going to say 3.
How much of it is Freeze? I mean, is it more Auburn than Freeze? Is there a cap with Auburn or is there a cap with Freeze? That's what I'm thinking.
I think there's a cap with Auburn. I'm honest when I say that. Auburn would have to win at a level that it has not won at to this point for us to get a number 1 type recruiting class, in my opinion. You're talking multiple national championships.
Yeah, I agree.
I think 5. I'll go 5 on that.
I say 4 only because I think Chiswick got number 4, and I think Freeze can get that high. I believe that.
I'll go top 3. But I don't know if it's going to get easier or harder.
I don't know. I got to get –
You're going to have the money.
I need to see it get to a point where you are not having to get half of your roster out of the transfer portal. And they're trying to get there, desperately trying to get there. Once I can see how they do when it's not, I've got to have at least 10 to 15 guys out of the portal, then I can have a better idea about it.
So that's the interesting thing. And you're talking about the direction of college football, Jeffrey, when you say 10 years from now. Are all these guys on contracts? Is the transfer portal as big of a deal because guys they're employed labor at that point, and you can't just hop in the transfer portal unless your contract's up, right? So how does all that shake out? You guys talk about the money.
Are there buyouts?
Right. Are there buyouts? Is there a revenue split with the TV money? What are we looking at from a rev share, from a collective bargaining agreement? Like, these are all types of terms that are going to drive what college football is going to be. And I think it's coming sooner rather than later. I honestly believe if you look how everything is couched right now, with regard to the playoff, right? They got a 2-year deal, and then the SEC and the Big Ten are kind of starting to pair up some, right? They're starting to kind of make their move where they're going to tell college football, like, either you're going to do what we think is right,
yes,
or we're going to spin off and we're going to do our own thing, man.
Mm-hmm. We don't need you.
We don't need you. We're the brand, right? We're going to add probably 2 or 3 more schools apiece. Each of us get to 20, and we'll have our own super league, and we'll figure out what's in our best interest. But all these things are coming, man. I mean, there's just too many things. This Tennessee court case, the most recent one where they've outlawed. I mean, the NCAA has zero power as it pertains to NIL laws anymore. You're only upheld to your state laws. Collectives are going to start to be able to host kids on their own official visits. You know what I mean? Like, I'm being honest when I say that. That's already circulating around. The collectives are going to start bringing guys in to visit with them because there's nothing they can't do now.
Did you see Jackson Dart sign with the charter?
Yeah.
Jet.
Yeah.
Charter jet anywhere in the world he wants to right now.
Right.
But I'm curious to see what in 10 years what we're doing. Are we talking about, the Cam Coleman of 2035 signed a 2-year deal with Auburn or a 3-year deal? And what's his buyout if he wants to transfer after one? If he wants to transfer after one to Ohio State, do they have to pay the $2.6 million buyout to Auburn to get him?
I think so. I honestly believe, and think about pro sports, how big the contract is a part of the story, right? And all that's transparent. You don't have, all right. So right now in college sports, and Cole, I want you to get in on this, but when a team loses out on recruiting, what does the fan base say? Oh, he got bought.
Sure.
Well, in the pros, everybody gets bought, right?
What's the argument going to be then? We don't
right.
have any money. We're poor.
Right. And what's the argument going to be?
Then they're going to chastise the alumni or the boosters.
And that's where the TV money starts to come in. Are they going to try to set it, like if they go to employment status, do they set that as their baseline for everybody getting a rev split out of that? And that's how you kind of get some equality in the sport? I don't know. I'm not smart enough to say what's going to happen next.
The potential, like, are you going and getting Apple to sponsor you? And are they investing in this? And, they're putting in this and they're going to get the scoreboard ad. And, there's just so much to this. I'm ready to either get there or not. The transition period sucks.
It does and I think that's the hardest part for coaches right now is there are no guidelines. And that's why you see them so upset about things. The recruiting calendar is an absolute mess. Let's all get organized. They don't care what the rules are. Just give us some rules and tell us how everybody's going to do it, and we'll go from there, right? Like the NCAA putting guardrails on NIL was always going to be a catastrophe ever since Brett Kavanaugh gave that scathing, opinion that coincided with the Alford case and basically said, do not bring this back to the Supreme Court. I am telling you right now, the NCAA and the way they view student athletes, it does not mesh with what we see from an employee standpoint. And every court decision from that point moving forward has just been one more black eye for the NCAA. So it's going to move in a different direction. Will they just finally do it? That's what I don't know. And that answers that question. Like, what can Auburn be in recruiting? What's the model, man? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is it completely pay for play? What is it?
Yeah. There's a lot of things to take into consideration when making that case. If everything stays the same, 3, 4, 5, we all think there's a top 5 class is absolutely doable.
Right.
I actually expect that. I think you expected Auburn to have a coach successful enough on the football field that he's able to turn that into successful in the recruiting. I think that's to be expected. Auburn top five finishes in football and top 5 finishes in recruiting. It should be the standard.
Yep.
All right, let's see what LLH5. Can you guys personally start recruiting Micah Deos and close the deal on him? Hell yes. Send me that briefcase, big dog. Does the commitment to LSU feel imminent? I think everybody does. Cole changed his pick to LSU. There's a lot of buzz nationally about him to LSU. I think Chad Simmons has a pick in for LSU. A couple of 24/7 people have some picks in for. I don't know where it's coming from.
I can give you my take on it.
Okay.
And I will admit there is a little bit of speculation here from me. And I'll never shy away. If that's the case and I'm making a pick where there is some speculation, I'm going to tell you. Because that's honestly, it's worked out well for me in making picks. So with Micah Deos, I felt like Auburn was the easy, clear-cut front runner, and I was not the only one that felt that way. National people felt that way. A lot of people that I talked to, Auburn's, there's always been confidence there. The reason I am changing it now, and I didn't change it at first when all the buzz started coming out about LSU, because I'm probably not ever going to do that because I am on the Auburn side. So I want to see how is Auburn going to prioritize someone, because when somebody starts slipping away from you in today's recruiting, that doesn't mean it's over. By any means does that mean it's over. We're in a different world now. Okay, so the buzz is going somewhere else. Well, if Auburn wants to, they can answer it back today. Just like that, they can. Well, the early returns on that is that they're not. That's what I've got. Okay. When Cam Coleman slipped away to Texas A&M, that minute they were working on trying to get that fixed. When things were looking bad with DeMarcus Riddick, they fixed it. When things were looking bad for Joseph Phillips, they didn't let it happen. You can even go back to Jalewis Solomon. Didn't let it happen. Eventually that one did. Well, right now, I am not getting the sense that Auburn is absolutely gung-ho just going to not let Micah Deos get away. I'm not getting it.
Cole, you are preaching, man, and I agree. I have not heard anything. And look, to speak to what you're talking about, each of us had independent sourcing on Cam Coleman, and each one of us came back and said, hey, man, they're saying they are not letting up on this.
And we didn't even want to talk about it at the time because it was like, nobody's going to listen to that.
No.
He just committed to A&M. He just spurned Auburn.
So I'm with you, and maybe I'll hear that at some point, but I have not heard that yet. The way I answered it today when somebody asked me that question is, I don't know where Mike is on the board right now. And maybe that's because they're still ranking things.
Yeah.
I don't honestly know. Like, I don't know that he's a can't miss guy right now. Maybe he is. I just don't know that. And when I'm with you, when I don't have information, like, it doesn't give me a lot of confidence to think that they're going to go all out to get the kid.
Right. And I do have a little, I mean, as far as where he stands on the board, if Micah Deos wanted to go to Auburn today, Auburn would absolutely love it. Okay. They like him. They would 100% take him. Well, that's not even in question. Okay. But there's another step here to me where, like we just said, are you going to, if things start slipping away from you, are you going to turn that around? Because you got the power at Auburn. We've learned that. And that does not feel like the case right now. That is why I changed my pick. That is the sole reason why I changed my pick.
That's what I was alluding to earlier when I brought him up. If Auburn really, really, really wants the kid, I feel like he'll be in this class. I do. I'm right there with you, Cole. Right now, I don't think they really, 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 really want him. I think they really want him. I just don't think they really, really, really want him. You know what I mean?
I'm with you.
Are there a couple of guys they also really, 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 really want? You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a lot. There's a lot of names out there. So that's exactly why what you're saying, Alan, is because there's so many names on the offensive line board.
Right.
So we don't know where everybody stands yet.
Let's see what Widespread Panic 2004. Oh, I mean Fish 2004. Boy, those are fighting words to Fish folk.
Hey, just throw some Trey and friends in there and see what you get.
All the meat for free against Fish. And I think there's a WSP somewhere on the board too. But I learned that too, man. Yeah, the hippie culture, they don't play. It's like,
they're serious.
Yeah.
The jam bands.
Jam bands. There you go. My bad.
Jam bands. There you go.
Jam bands. I have been to many a jam band. I've been to a few Widespread Panic concerts.
Yeah.
Had a ball. I think.
On the dark side of the moon, baby.
We was spinning that moon. Let's see. Outside of the top quarterback targets, is there a target that would require a huge NIL to sign? And I'm thinking last year it would have been the wide receivers. Linebackers was probably a huge priority for Auburn NIL wise. So this year, I'm thinking offensive line is going to be a huge priority NIL wise for Auburn.
Offensive line and defensive line. I think that is the priority in this class.
I'd even say defensive line above offensive line.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. Hell, I would rather see that every year. And I think you mentioned this, Alan, on the call-in show. You know, that was one of the things that Dabo Swinney did when he first took over at Clemson. And he still continues to do that. He puts a huge value. I mean, most coaches do. And you say, man, when you've got a stud defensive line, listen, Auburn's 2010 defense wasn't elite, right? It wasn't. But man, you had Nick Fairley, and you had some dogs on that front.
You really did. Antoine Carter was on that.
Yeah, hot boy, son.
Yeah, Mike Goggins was on that front. Zach Clayton was on that front. And Nick Fairley brought it all together. He was the guy that created havoc on the interior.
Game breaker.
Yeah.
Game changer. I mean, the play he had against Alabama, when they're going down there inside the 5 to score, I think it was inside the 5.
Yeah, it was.
And they would have put the game away, son. It was done. That was Auburn's season. He shoots through the gap. I think, if I'm remembering this correctly, tackle for loss, causes the fumble, picks it up. I mean, wasn't that? Am I remembering this right?
Yeah, it was like a strip sack almost, and the ball laid there. It felt like the ball laid there forever, and he was the one that nobody else was reacting to it. It was incredible. He was incredible.
Georgia game.
Was that Greg McElroy at quarterback?
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
And then I even
remember the offensive lineman he beat, Anthony Steen. Like, I remember that play. I remember good D-line, man. I just remember. That's my favorite position. It is. I mean, I'm an O-line guy.
Did Hot Boy do something in that game?
He knocked the fumble out, remember? So he punched it out from behind.
Yes.
He punched it out of Mark Ingram's, and it just trickled down the sideline.
I love that game. Listen, that 2010 Iron Bowl was probably my favorite Iron Bowl.
Yeah, it was awesome.
First of all, I had 45-yard line seats, and I'm sitting next to Philip Marshall, who I idolize. I love Philip Marshall.
Oh, of course, dude.
Love it. And I got to watch the game with Iron Bowl. That game with me and Phillips, we get along real good, real well, he would tell me. So, yeah, that was just that's a memory I won't ever forget. And being able to sit there and just talking back and forth and with him, that game was spectacular. They were 4-3 at halftime.
It was 24-0 at one point. It was 24-3 at
They
halftime.
got a late field goal. Auburn got a late field goal.
I thought we got a late touchdown. I thought Emory Blake got the late touchdown.
Wasn't that the opening of the third, maybe?
No, that was Terrell Zachary that got the touchdown to open.
Another reason I love that game. T-Zach, my man.
It seemed like there were so many things in that game that were so close to not happening for Auburn. Like Emory Blake, that touchdown, he almost drops it.
Yeah. Oh, he almost dropped it. That's right. He bobbled it, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, and they tried, and somebody got their hand on it, and it was like he barely had it. Like the fumble with Nick Fairley, the trickle down the sideline after Antoine Carter knocked it out.
Great game. Josh Bynes, I love watching him play football.
Whew. And I tell you what, it wasn't even that Iron Bowl, though, that when my appreciation for Josh Bynes came is the year prior, because he absolutely owned Alabama. And he said, meet me in the hole, son, because I'm coming.
Boyd Anderson. That was Josh Bynes.
Probably
Boyd Anderson High School.
Probably my favorite play of the 2010 Iron Bowl was to Sharvin Bell.
Oh, yes. My man, T-Bell, big dog.
That was a great one.
I think McElroy's still seeing stars.
You know he is. And I tell you what else, man.
McElroy. Is it McElroy?
It's McElroy.
You related any kin to McElroy?
I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that.
I like old McElroy. He's pretty good, man.
He is good, isn't he?
Listen, Greg's phenomenal. Good. I listen to his radio show. He also does a great job with color content. I think he's fantastic, and he's pretty unbiased, to be completely honest.
Yeah, he does a good job.
I like him.
But I did it for you, Charlie. Hands down.
Charlie.
My brother, Charlie.
The Bulls.
Love you, Charlie. I love your mama.
El Toro Freeman, baby.
We did it. We did it, mama.
Yeah, we did it, mama.
El Toro, if you're listening to this, you called into the show, brother.
That's my dude now. I can get Toro on here. He would be a great guest, wouldn't he? What a great interview.
Yeah, he'd be awesome.
Yes.
I see him from time to time. He's a good dude. A real good dude. Repping the brand. Reputation on the line. All right, let's get some how abouties, and we'll try to get this thing wrapped up. How about you from Mr. Alan Head? Lead us off, Big Dog Head.
All right, so it's all coming from one thread for me this week.
Okay.
But Jay Lee's best sayings thread. The Buzz Lightyear started this. Hands down, you get one, big dog. Aces full gets 1-4. I think Jhead 34382 still biting on. That's what I said. Gets me every time.
Still
I've
biting
used
on
it
it.
twice this show.
Oh yeah.
No, he's pissed at
Hold
me.
on.
I don't bite on it anymore.
Yeah, Cole's fed up with it. He's over it, man. Cole's the one who always sets me up, though. Hold on. Who was the first one Jay had?
So
Alan had.
You're good, man. The first one is Buzz Lightbeer. And he gets one just for that name,
That's
dude.
a great name. That's a great name.
Buzz Lightbeer. Ace is full.
Ace is full. Give me North Georgia Tiger.
Oh.
Again.
Yep.
And that's NA or
GA,
North GA?
North GA.
North GA Tiger. Coochie Rabbit.
Oh,
Coochie. We're saying Jeffrey's like a fart. It's funny, and I can't help but laugh.
I love me some Coochie. Always have.
And finally, for Logan Adams, on the reminder that $4 for $10, the promotion, dude, that Jeffrey had to say.
I forgot.
We had some fun with that shit in the pre-show, man. Like
Hey,
that was.
I got to go back and review that thread again. I hadn't looked at it in a minute. Is I love me some Coochie I always have? Is that on there?
No.
It will be.
I'm as raw as prom night. That one was on there. And my personal favorite was "You'll Always Be My McElderry."
That really hit me hard when somebody was like, "No, dude, it's how do you pronounce it?
McElderry, right?
McElderry,
Yeah,
I think.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Which is not even his name anymore. You know that.
No,
his name is Rock Montgomery. He changed his name.
Bro,
I apologize, big dog. I didn't mean to.
Is that like a stage name now?
Yeah, right.
Go look at the Alabama roster. He is Rock Montgomery. The artist formerly known as Raquez McElderry.
Like you take your dog's name and you mix it with your first street name or your first house or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How about you, Mr. Cole Pinkston?
Yeah, I guess my number's 5. I got 5 again.
Okay.
There you go.
Coach Simpson. Simpson, who is a new member with us.
All right. Coach Simpson, one word or is there space?
Yeah, 2 words. Just Coach Simpson.
With a space between coach and Simpson.
Space.
All right.
Yeah. And then another one with a space, Dog River.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
FMD.
Yeah. I like him.
Voices. These are Voices of Reason. I went Voices of Reason this week.
All right. I like it.
And then one that is all over the board. But I respect his game. He's in every thread I open. And he had one that made me laugh. So I was like, you know what? I put up a note on Nick Brooks, big offensive lineman from Iowa. And Eli Double-Ott commented on it. He said, "Hey, I want me a guy from Iowa. They produce the good fats."
The good fats.
So it just made me laugh. It was funny.
Eli Double-Ott. He's good.
Connor Morgan, another voice of reason this week.
Is that CONNOR?
It's ER.
That's what I said. I got him.
Yeah, you got me on that one.
Caught him clean on that one, dude.
You got me on that one.
All right, let's see here. I got how about you, the Mookie Blaylock?
Dude, I have not heard the Mookie Blaylock name in a minute.
Let me see what he did. Let's see. Mookie Blaylock. Let me see what thread it was. It was the 40. It was the over 40 thing when you turn 40. I said your balls sag more than before. Careful crossing your legs. And about 30 minutes prior, I had experienced that. I was hanging at the knees that day. You know, some days are better than others when you get to 40-something.
Oh, Zach's gonna have to do some editing work tonight, baby.
Mookie Blaylock. How about you, big dog? How about you to Alan Head?
Ooh.
Welcome to the show, big dog. Welcome to the show. That's what they used to tell Major League. Remember that? Welcome to the show.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the show. How about you to B-Die?
Yes.
How about you to B-Dye? Getting, as we said, Connor. He checked Connor. Connor needed to be checked, and B-Dye checked him. And how about you to Mookie? I said Mookie. How about you to M.O. Tigers? Let me see what he did. Oh, he claims to be the one who told me to put that Tajin on my watermelon.
I did see that. Yep.
And then Chuka 1914 came in with a gift. He got this homeless guy begging for change because Mo Tigers was wanting to. How about you? I told Mo, I said, listen, this is OG. This is how you earn. How about you?
There you go.
But Mo, I will say this: that Tajin on your watermelon was life changing for me. That I don't even. I'm putting it tahine.
Emily, my wife calls it tahine. I don't know
Tahine.
if it's it looks like Tajin.
Yeah. Well,
Hey,
tahine.
And let me know when you put it on your pineapple. I'm telling you, I don't even like pineapple that much, but that's a game changer.
All right.
Okay. I got to do
watermelon, dude. Holy cow!
I had a quick
was
question.
Fantastic.
A couple shows ago, Horace from 3 was brought up, who was a good poster on the board. And I think one of us said that Horace which never happened. One of us said that he never, but he did, didn't he? Didn't he take a shot from 3 in like a final in one of the SEC tournament games?
Horace
at the
Spencer?
buzzer? Horace Spencer.
I think he tried several. He just
I think he ended up taking a 3 when it was not supposed to happen, and Bryce Brown's over there like. Anyway, I needed
instead the 6'8" senior with a career 3-point percentage of 13% turned to the basket and pulled up from beyond the arc as PJ Washington contested the shot. Spencer had just 3 career pointers to his name entering the Elite 8.
Yeah, it was Kentucky, and it was the last. It was a buzzer. Auburn and Kentucky went into overtime.
Yeah, we went into overtime. If they pass it to Bryce Brown, it's probably a knockdown.
And Bryce was over there open. He was like,
Bryce says, I just gave Horace the ball. I thought he was going to give it back to me, but there wasn't much time left. I didn't give him the ball with much time left. I really wanted the ball. I could have made the shot. There wasn't much time left, so I couldn't take the shot. Spencer didn't pass the ball back to Brown, though, nor did he swing it to McLemore, who was wide open in the corner. Instead, the 6'8" senior threw up with a 13% 3-point, turned to the basket and pulled up from beyond the arc. Spencer had just three career 3-pointers to his name entering the Elite 8. He was combined 0 for 3. Did he make the shot or not? Great day.
He missed it. He clanged it bad, man.
A slight smile could be seen on Spencer's face as he fired away, a chance at going down in the Auburn and NCAA tournament lore 20 feet, 9 inches away. The shot caromed off the back of the rim and into the arms of UK's Tyler Hero as overtime was coming.
Okay. And it was a tie ball game. All they needed was a goal. It didn't have to be a 3. Yeah, I just thought about that the other day. I had to mention that.
Horace from 3. So how about you? Let me go back through here, man. We were off and all. How about you, Aces Full? How about you, the Buzz Light Beer? How about you, the North Georgia Tiger? How about you, the Coochie? How about you, the Logan Adams? How about you, Coach Simpson, Dog River, FMD, Eli Double Lot, and Connor Morgan? How about you, Mookie Blaylock, M.O. Tigers, Chuka 1914, Allen Head, B-Dye? Finally, how about you to Zach McInell?
Yes.
Or Zach in the back with his be thinking about him and his family and keeping them in our thoughts and prayers. Zach in the back. It's actually Zach McKinnell, but I like to call him McInell.
You call it? Are you one of them guys that calls it McDonald's too?
Oh hell yeah! We can stop at McDonald's if you want to. Run down there to the Walmarts.
Oh,
the Walmarts,
yes, That's what my grandmother used to call it. Straight up was the Walmarts. Like, we're gonna head down to the Walmarts now.
Walmart,
Dollar General.
Yeah,
Dollar General.
Yeah. All right, fantastic show, folks. We're going to be back Sunday night for the call-in show. Got a lot to talk about. Got some visits coming up. The football team will be practicing today for the second time of spring. Got all the action at Auburn Live on 3. Go check us out, man. YouTube listeners, watchers can use the promo code AU1, capital A, capital U1. Get 2 months for free. No, 2 months for $1. Practically free. So go there and check us out, man. Like I said, we'll be back Sunday. We appreciate everybody for listening. We appreciate everybody watching. For Cole, for Jhead, for Zach in the back, I'm Jeffrey Lee. Man, y'all stay out of that left lane. See you.